Hello, New Covenant family. This last week we started our Advent series looking at Jesus in the book of Exodus. And we started off by talking about how Jesus is the prophet, the great prophet who was to come. We looked at the idea of typology, and if you remember, typology analyzes the patterns in Scripture. These patterns might show up in an event like the Exodus or like the Passover, a person like Moses or Daniel or Joseph, an institution like the priesthood, kingship, or as we saw in our text today, the prophetic institution. And these things point forward and are fulfilled in Scripture's patterns historically, and we see that they reveal things about who Jesus is, the King, and what his kingdom is like. So our big idea was that God promised that there would be a prophet that would be like Moses who would come, and that his people would listen to him. That's what Deuteronomy 18 says, right? That God will send a prophet like Moses, and that God's people will listen to this prophet who is to come. We, therefore, should listen to Jesus and what he has to say to us. He is our great prophet. He's better than Moses. And we see that all of the major events and things that happened in Moses' life happened in the life of Jesus. Just like there were the death of the male children under Pharaoh, Herod is murdering the male children in Jesus' day. Just as God called Abraham, or just as God called, well, Abraham, he called him out of Egypt as well in Genesis chapter 12. But just as he called Moses out of Egypt, he's going to call Jesus out of Egypt in Matthew 2:13 through 15. Just as Moses went through the water of the Red Sea with the people of Israel, and the text in 1 Corinthians 10 said that they were baptized into Moses, so Jesus went through the baptismal waters to fulfill all righteousness and to fulfill this pattern. In the wilderness, Moses spent time right after he brought the people up out of Egypt, and the people grumbled and complained. Jesus was brought into the wilderness, and there was no grumbling and complaining, but trusting in God and in his word. Moses, after he was in the wilderness, was brought to the mountain, and he gave the law. Jesus goes on the mount and gives the sermon and interprets the law and tells the people how they can follow God. Moses performs signs and wonders. Jesus heals the sick, provides food miraculously, drives out demons. In the New Testament, and in multiple places, Acts 3 and Acts 7, says that Jesus is the one who Moses was talking about when he said that there was going to be a prophet like him who was going to come, that the people should listen to, that it would be required of them. And just like Moses was transfigured on the mountain in Exodus 34, so Jesus was transfigured. But Jesus is better than Moses in every one of these historical instances that match the life of Moses. And we all see these in the Gospel of Matthew. Every one of these is in the Gospel of Matthew. We see that when it comes to Jesus, these things are just heightened. They're escalated. So when that Mount of Transfiguration happens and Peter sees Elijah and Moses, the great prophets of the Old Testament, and he sees Jesus, he thinks that they're kind of on the same page. But the cloud goes over the mountain, and a voice comes from the cloud and said, "This is my son, listen to him." Echoing that language that was used in Deuteronomy 18. Jesus is the one who all of this is pointing forward to. God has put these patterns in Scripture so that we would see them, so that we would adore and follow Jesus above all things. And what does that mean? It means that we should listen to him. I hope that you listen to him this week by reading his word. I hope that you listen to him this week by following him, even when it's tough. I hope that you listen to him this week by trusting in him in every area and aspect of your life. May you be blessed this week as you listen to Jesus and as you follow him. We look forward to next week when we see that out of Egypt God called his son. And we'll see how God sets this pattern of sonship that culminates in the person and work of Jesus Christ. I hope that you have a great day.